It's really unfortunate when your entire world is like mudslides and fires. It's like hell on earth.
This week, the channels asked students, did the Thomas Fire or Montecito mudslides impact you? And if they did, how?
We had met as an emergency team a week prior and actually discussed, what would we need to do if something happened and the freeway were closed? We had the example from many years ago of the La Conchita landslide and the freeway being shut down for a significant period of time at that point as well. So it was a really great that we had that conversation about what would need to happen and what we would need to communicate to students and to staff. So it was just that regular ongoing work with our executive team here.
I wasn't directly affected, luckily, and I'm sorry to anyone who was, but I did have some of my finals canceled a little bit earlier, and we were given the option to take them online, but a lot of people ended up just sticking with their grades that they had in the class because they were happy with that.
Well, I was affected by the Thomas Fire. I actually had bronchitis briefly before that, and it made my inflammation of my lungs a lot worse. My lips were chapped, and when I went outside, even though I had the mask on, that rubbing up against my lips made that a lot worse. It caused me health problems. The mudslides didn't affect me directly, but my family, friends were very affected by it.
We live in Fillmore, and the fire was maybe 15 miles away from where we lived.
So we could watch the fire coming down the mountain from our house.
Yeah.
We weren't directly affected. Our old apartment where we used to live burnt down, but that's it. We weren't living there. So.
They did. It was very smoky, very dramatic, as we had to take our final exams. It was very intense, and our final exams got canceled.
Yes, or they were take-homes, which made them even harder for some reason.
That was really intense. It was crazy.
Yes, they did. Not the fires, but the mudslides did. And it's not so much the mudslides, but what brought on the mudslides, which is the rain. The place I lived, which was along the Santa Barbara Montecito border, it got flooded. So now I'm living out of my van. Thankfully, the school lets me use their facility as a shower. And, there's a pantry on campus, so I'm kind of enjoying it at the moment. Trying to be optimistic. It's a funny way to start out a semester, living out of your van.
And almost lost my job during the Thomas Fire, but once the Montecito mudslides hit, I actually lost my job and my place of living. So now I am, living off the SBCC, food pantry with my box of Cheez-Its and, just trying to survive now. So that's how it's impacted me.